Hello there gorgeous gamers and welcome back to another Pure Play TV video review, and today we're taking to the open road in The Crew 2. The Crew 2 is available on PS4, Xbox One, PC and Stadia, and today we're looking specifically at the Stadia version. All gameplay is captured from running the game inside Google Chrome at 1080p settings. Las Vegas, Nevada, my dreamland, my mecca. My holiday plans ruined by the bloody Rona. This year I was supposed to go to E3 in Los Angeles with some of the boys from Pure PlayStation, and then celebrate our get together with a break with the lads in Las Vegas. I did it the year before and I was looking forward to doing it again. Why is this relevant? Because I've still been to Las Vegas, Nevada this year. But rather than losing my money at the tables and wandering the strip, tripping my balls off, I sped down a sad and lifeless version of Sin City in The Crew 2. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've picked up my controller, switched on Stadia and gone for a scenic drive down the iconic destination. Yes, I'm probably in need of some professional help, but this was my way of escaping the Rona and the confines of my home. Before we hit the gas on this review, if you haven't already, please hit them like and subscribe buttons down below, and don't forget the bell icon too so that you're the first to know when we've got new stuff. Cheers my dears! The Crew 2 presents an open world that is actually an open country. You're free to drive through as many of the USA's great cities in a variety of cars, racing others, completing odd jobs, or simply taking in the sights. Heck, if it's the sights you want to see, you can take a racing plane to the skies and see the great red, white and blue from above. Or you can even bomb it down the coastlines, rivers and lakes in racing boats. A lot of the original game has carried over to The Crew 2, but it couldn't be a different game if it tried. There's literally no connection between the two races and their core concepts are drastically different. The Crew tried to tell a story. The Crew 2 tasks you with telling your own. Instead of being an underground racer on a mission, you're a licensed racer taking part in an organised, countrywide racing event. The gritty cutscenes and drab dialogue have been replaced with chirpy pill-chomping millennials and slap the palate on the page visuals. Everything is so bright, it's to the point of gaudy, as if the game's doing everything it can to keep my attention. The two games are worlds apart, and why The Crew 2 wasn't rebranded as a new franchise, I'll never know. But now we finally have a competitor to Microsoft's fantastic Forza Horizon series. Unfortunately, it doesn't come close to taking Forza Horizon's crown, but it does at least make a decent run at the throne. Gameplay consists of getting cars, going to events, competing, gaining followers, and doing it all again. You can do it at your own pace though, and Ubisoft's insistence on emergent gameplay couldn't be more clear here. After the initial introduction race, you're basically free to do whatever you want, including ditching the wheels for wings. Naturally, I gave all three racing methods a go, and I settled on the traditional car. Flying didn't feel great, and the GTA games have ruined racing on water for me for life. The controls were fine, mind you, but there was definitely a lack of heft. Pulling stunts is easy and practical to do in the planes, it's what they're designed for, but the risk never matched the reward. I was never fearful that I might not pull up in time, as it always felt like the game was on my side. The physics were rigid too, and honestly, flying a plane in GTA 5 feels better than in The Crew 2. Racing on four wheels is my preferred method then. And I did it. Lots. But what did I achieve? I don't really know. Without any kind of guidance to do anything, I didn't feel the need to bother with whatever fancy events Ubisoft had crafted for me. Instead, I spent most of my time just driving around aimlessly, or setting my own challenges to myself, like driving from coast to coast, or visiting Las Vegas, Nevada. This is actually a problem I have with a lot of Ubisoft's recent games. You're dumped into a massive world with 1,000 checkmarkers, but what's keeping you going from one to the other? I know I compare the game to Forza Horizon, but I really do think that Microsoft's Racer is the best example of less is more, with its large but densely packed world. The Crew 2 often feels devoid of life. There are pedestrians walking the streets, but there's so few that it often looks like the in-game world might be having its own battle against the Rona. The roads aren't empty, but at times they do feel it. Of course, you don't want to have too much natural traffic getting in the way of some good racing, but at times it felt at odds with the massive open country map. In some ways, The Crew 2 feels like a big leap from its predecessor. In other ways, it feels like it hasn't jumped quite far enough. Maybe with the new console generation, Ubisoft will try to push the boundaries a little further, but right now, it feels like the company's games are currently sitting on the fence, waiting to see what the next big thing is so it may follow the leader. The actual gameplay itself is fine, and when you're actually competing, there's a good challenge to be had. The controls work great, and after getting adjusted to The Crew 2's physics, which lean far more into arcade territory than Forza Horizon, it's actually fun to drive and race, whether it's against AI, other players, or your own internal challenges. There is something to be had here, but you really have to go out of your way to find it. Despite the game's shortcomings, it is an easy game to recommend, especially at a time where Stadia doesn't have many other races and none on the scale of The Crew 2. On the technical side of things, The Crew 2 looks and runs great on Stadia. I played it on PC, Chromecast Ultra on my 4K TV, and on my phone, and performance was brilliant each time. Naturally, this will vary depending on your own connection speed, but I can say that in my case, the game ran very well. And there we have it, folks, another review in the bag. I hope you enjoyed this one. Maybe I'll see you on the digital streets of Las Vegas. If you haven't already, please hit them like and subscribe buttons down below, and also the bell icon to get notified when we've got new stuff for you to watch. I've been Chris, you've been my crew, and I'll see you next time. Until then, bye!